expect to see out of Colin Chandler? Is more minutes coming his way as the postseason comes along? Where do you kind of see him going in the postseason?
Yeah, he's getting more and more comfortable on the floor, and he gives us some things that we don't have a lot of on the roster. Like he's grown so much defensively, and we're going to need him to be great on the defensive side. He's getting more aggressive and comfortable on the offensive end, where he's in attack mode, but attacking the way we do it, and we need that. We need both those things, and so he's going to be a big key to this. You know, our lineup is not super deep. We need everybody to be really big, and of course we need Colin to be great.
Mark, you mentioned on the radio show, I think Monday, about you kind of have some staffers looking at Georgia, Summit,
Yep.
Oklahoma. Could you just go into more detail on like how that's broken down? And do you even have do you have anybody looking at Alabama? Should you get that far?
Yeah. So we have 3 teams right now. So 3 teams that are leading the scout. So Team A and B, or 1A and 1B, are working in Georgia and Oklahoma, and then we have another independent group on the staff that's working Alabama, prepping that. We also have a group that's doing even looking farther down the road.
Are you looking at like possible like 14 seed, 15 seed tournament, or farther down the road in the SEC?
Well, you'd have to ask those 2 guys. Those guys are just responsible for anything that's coming more than 2 days away.
At this point of the season, how much can you really add to, because you mentioned months ago we're going to add a little here, a little here.
Yep.
At this point, can you add something?
Well, we can get better at the things we're doing, which is probably the most important part. I'm really proud of our guys, man. You know, we've talked about it a lot, but us on the defensive side of the ball in the last month, I actually don't know if I've ever seen a team make the strides that this group has made analytically on the defensive end. And that's massively important for us, that we continue to grow there, and I think we can. So we're growing that way, and then you're always adding in tweaks. We have a couple like it's meaningless, but we have a couple new actions that we put in the last couple of days that actually have a little bit more movement with a little bit more pace to try and needle some things we see in some of the teams that we might face. But for the most part, it's just getting better at what we do.
How do you approach the pressure of the tournament time, where it's one and done? Obviously, you'll have another tournament after this, but just and just taking it game by game.
Well, the beautiful thing about coaching at the University of Kentucky is every game for me is essentially a one or done, because if I lose one, I get fired at any moment. You know, Mitch is calling me, be like, I don't know, we'll see how this goes. So we live in that. Like, that's what we do. I mean, it's one of the beautiful things about being here is, and I know it sounds like cliche, but it's not, guys. It's the privilege of playing and coaching and being associated with this program, that every single game feels like that. And so for us, there's some comfort in that it's just like you don't know how to turn the temperature up more. You kind of turn it up a little bit more every single game, just because your capacity grows to actually turn it up. And so hopefully our capacity has grown enough that we can turn it up and be successful in the postseason. But in terms of our preparation, you just can't get more than everything, right?
Do the late night tips matter at all, or is that something you adjust to in a way, or are these kids just young and they play basketball at the time?
We always kind of manage our schedule to try and cater to tip times. And so we've had we had a handful of, we had some really early start. We had 11 a.m. start a couple times. And but we're used to preparing for different times. 8:30 tip is a little bit past my bedtime, so we'll see how that goes. I might be a little sleepy, but we'll be fine.
What do you tell your kids that haven't played in this tournament before? BBN is going to show out at this stage. What do you tell them what to expect coming in?
We won't spend a lot of time on that. It's just this game. It's the game, right? And we're hoping. We're here. We talked about it in our huddle before we left practice yesterday. We talked about our goal is to come here and win. That's every team's goal, is to come here and win. Our goal is to come here and win. But the way that we're going to win is we're going to come here and we're going to think about this possession. We're going to be lost with our whole heart in this possession. And then when the next possession comes, we're going to be lost in that possession. And so if we do our job right, if we're going to give ourselves the best chance to be successful, it doesn't guarantee anything, but the best chance to be successful is we're not going to pay a lot of attention to any of that. It's just going to be, we're going to be completely, our whole heart, mind, and soul is going to be lost in the possession that we're in right now. And if we can do that consistently, we're going to be successful.
You talked a lot about Lamont's winning background. One of the things that really drew you to him.
Yeah.
How much does that matter right now, and
Yeah.
how much can that ripple across the roster to everybody else, especially those young guys?
I think it matters a lot. There's no replacement for experience. The only way to get experience is experience. And again, it doesn't guarantee anything other than that you walk onto the court, and if it feels great, if it feels weird, if the game feels fast or if it feels slow, if there's foul issues or if there's big leads or big, all the things you're like, well, I know I've been here before, and we know we've come out of this successfully before. And so there's some comfort level there. And so it matters. And he as well as, one thing, we don't have a lot of guys that have played in the SEC tournament. In fact, we don't have any active guys on the roster that have played in the SEC tournament. And so, that part's new, but in terms of everything else, our guys are familiar.
I assume that they also will be familiar with the fact that since this is a neutral site, it's basically a road home game.
Yes.
With the way UK fans show up.
Yeah, come on. It's, again, I say this over, it's Kentucky, right? And so there's no fan base like this in the world. And it means so much, and that's part of the reason why it means so much to us. And there is nothing in the world that my guys would like more than to gift BBN an incredible week here. That means a lot to us, and so we're really devoted to doing everything we can humanly possible as a team to make that happen.
You mentioned a small bench. Obviously, we've seen that over the last several weeks. To get to Sunday, what would it take to win when you get to that point when everybody, both teams probably have zero on the gas?
It's just be all guts. It's all guts, man. It's guts and discipline, and you get deep into a tournament run, especially with us only having a single bye. You get pretty deep, and it's just it turns into it's actually really fun to get to that point because the nervousness goes away, and there's some freshness that goes away, and then you kind of are working on just this passion and determination and love for the game, and that's a really special place to get. We don't get to that place in our life very much, and this tournament gives the opportunity, especially this year. Like, we've never seen anything like this, and so the teams that are going to get there, they're going to have got really deep into the soul of their team. And that's a beautiful place to get. I hope that for my guys. I hope my guys can experience that because that's really special.
Mark, you talked about this before the Missouri game, having 3 games and now 4 games in a row with the same crew.
Yeah.
Put your players' hat on for a second.
Yeah.
How does that help them with the fact that now Jackson's not coming out like Willis Reed, that this is what we got? Does it make it easier knowing what your role's going to be?
In all honesty, I still have dreams at night about Jack's rolling back. Coach, I'm good to go. Let's go. Kerr also. But certainly the continuity is helpful. The continuity is helpful with us being able to game plan, our guys being able to game plan, being able to look back at least 3 games through a 3-game history with this lineup and be like, okay, we function pretty well in this space. The rotation kind of work a little bit here based on situation. Continuity is really important, and we're incredibly grateful to have had the last 2 weeks of a little bit of continuity. It's been a long time since we were there, so it's been really good for our team.
Do you have a favorite SEC tournament memory other than winning one?
I have so many. I mean, we played in a championship game against Arkansas my junior year that will forever be one of the most special games in my life. Arkansas was defending national champions, and we'd been going at it. I think we had lost at their place on a last-second shot that we missed, and we got down 17 during the course of the game, and I think we got down 8 in overtime, and the whole Rod Rhodes saga, missed the free throws to win it, and on the bench crying, can't check back in the game, and Anthony Epps and the whole thing, and those are special. Those are the type of games that let you walk into a room different. I shared this the other day. My wife loves it so much about, birds aren't scared about landing on a branch that could break because they know they can fly. And you go through something like that. That's what I wish for my guys. And they've been through it. They did it against Duke. They did it against Gonzaga. They've had a bunch of moments where things look really bad and they just as a group just pick themselves up, but that's what makes you walk into a room different for the rest of your life, because you know that if things go wrong you can fix them. And so that's clearly the details of that game are super special.
Mark, following up on that, Coach Pitino had an unbelievable record in this event. Is there anything that you can take from that is it translatable all these years later?
We're about to find out.
Fair enough.
Everyone good?
Awesome. Thank you guys. Appreciate you being here.
Double in that game.
There we go.